In the silence before conception, in the space between heartbeats, in the moment before a soul chooses flesh, there exists a conversation between the eternal and the temporal, between what has always been and what is about to become. You believe you understand childhood. You think you're watching consciousness begin when a baby opens their eyes. But what if everything you believe is backwards? What if that child staring back at you with those impossibly deep eyes has been conscious for millennia? What if their first breath isn't an awakening, but a forgetting? What if childhood isn't the beginning of the story, but simply the latest chapter in an epic spanning lifetimes? Today we're exploring the hidden stages of a child's soul, not the developmental milestones in textbooks, but the true metamorphosis between worlds, between lives, between the infinite and the intimate. This isn't about growing up, it's about growing down. How eternal beings learn to wear mortal costumes, how infinite consciousness squeezes itself into small bodies and smaller memories, only to spend a lifetime trying to remember what it chose to forget. Stage 1, the council. Before the womb, there's a gathering beyond space and time. Picture a conference that exists where souls convene not in bodies, but as pure consciousness. Your child's soul sits with guides and teachers, with other souls it has loved across countless lifetimes. They review the previous incarnation, what was learned, what remains unfinished, what patterns need breaking, what gifts need developing, what debts need balancing. They examine the tapestry of human experience and choose carefully: the family, the challenges, the gifts, the limitations, even the wounds. Yes, especially the wounds. Because how can a soul learn compassion without experiencing pain? How can it understand forgiveness without being betrayed? How can it develop strength without facing adversity? Your child chose you, not randomly, not accidentally. You made an agreement eons ago to help each other remember, to play specific roles in each other's evolution. Stage 2, the descent, and so begins the descent. Not a falling, but a choosing. A deliberate journey from pure knowing into learning through experience. The soul wraps itself in layers of density. First, the mental body, taking on thought, memory, linear processing. Then the emotional body, agreeing to feel joy and sorrow, love and fear with intensity pure spirit cannot fathom. Finally, the physical body, the ultimate disguise. Imagine being a master pianist, agreeing to forget music to experience learning it again. Being fluent in every language, and choosing muteness to rediscover the power of first words. This isn't punishment, it's the most courageous act in the universe. Your child's soul agreed to temporary amnesia for the sake of authentic experience. Stage 3, the arrival. Then comes the first breath. But watch closely in those early moments. See how they look at things you can't see? Reach for what isn't there, smile at empty corners. They're not looking at your world yet. They're still processing the transition, adjusting to matter's heaviness, linear time's limitations, the strange experience of separation from everything they know themselves to be. In those first weeks, they exist in both worlds, part still connected to where they came from, part beginning to adapt to where they have arrived. Scientists say their brain is undeveloped, response is primitive. But what if they're measuring the wrong thing? The brain is learning to house consciousness that's ancient beyond measure, a suitable vessel for something that has already mastered existence itself. Stage 4, the great forgetting. Then comes the great forgetting. Like morning mist dissolving under sunlight, their cosmic memory begins to fade. Not lost, never lost. Simply veiled, buried beneath the beautiful, terrible necessity of learning to be human. They forget they chose their parents, selected their circumstances. They forget every person they'll encounter was written in starlight across their soul's blueprint before they took form. This forgetting isn't accidental, it's essential. How can a soul truly learn courage if it remembers it's immortal? How can it learn compassion if it recalls its connection to everything? How can it learn unconditional love if it knows separation is illusion? The forgetting creates the classroom, makes lessons real, transforms knowing into experience. Your child who once commanded elements now cries when hungry, who possessed infinite wisdom now struggles with shoelaces, who knew themselves as infinite consciousness now fears the dark. Beautiful paradox, as they forget who they are, they remember how to become. Stage 5, the adaptation. Watch a child at play. You're witnessing the soul's attempt to remember itself through physical world language. They build towers and knock them down, learning creation and destruction, the temporary nature of all forms. They play house, rehearsing roles chosen for this lifetime, practicing relationships they've agreed to heal or develop. Those imaginary friends, they're giving voice to guides and teachers still with them, visible only to the part that hasn't fully forgotten. Those impossible questions: where do thoughts come from? What happens to love when someone dies? These are the most sophisticated questions possible. Adults dismiss these as innocent curiosities of undeveloped minds. But what if children are the philosophers and adults have lost their way? Every tantrum is a soul raging against physical limitations. Every moment of pure joy is recognition of their true nature, despite separation's veil. Every act of spontaneous kindness is a soul remembering itself.